Hey guys, it's Owen from Wrestling Inc. back with another wrestling news roundup. Without any further ado, let's get into today's biggest stories in the world of professional wrestling. Backstage news on talent reaction to Vince McMahon allegations. After the Wall Street Journal reported that Vince McMahon has paid over $12 million in hush money, there has been mixed reactions backstage from the talent, according to Dave Meltzer on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio. The allegation claimed that McMahon had paid off 3 other women whom he supposedly has been sexually involved with, one of which was a former wrestler that claimed to have been coerced into having oral sex, while another was sent unsolicited nudes from him. Meltzer heard from several different wrestlers who were at SmackDown, and they provided a varying degree of thoughts when it came to the latest allegations surrounding McMahon. One believed that people know what they are getting into when they enter the wrestling business. Another talent revealed that McMahon is not selling anything right now, and nobody backstage is talking about the situation, as they believe that if you are heard doing that, there is a chance of getting into trouble, which nobody needs right now. Then a third person gave a very different take, as they said they were very concerned about the situation. They believe that it's one thing for him to pay money in order to cover up an affair, which was the first allegation that was made against him, but it is something else when it becomes coercion, as they are viewing that as a concerning situation. McMahon was backstage at SmackDown this week, although unlike when the first allegation was made against him, he did not appear on television this time. Despite that, it was being viewed as business as usual behind the scenes when it came to running the show and what was happening. The original report against McMahon took place on June 12, which claimed he had paid off a former paralegal regarding an affair that they had had. Since that point, WWE's board of directors have been investigating him, while he also stepped down as WWE CEO, with Stephanie McMahon taking over on an interim basis. Backstage health update on Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson is reportedly not expected back in the ring anytime soon. Speaking on his Sunday night's main event podcast, Dave Meltzer provided a health update on the veteran wrestler, noting that although Danielson has recovered from his concussion, AEW President Tony Khan is being extra cautious with the handling of one of his prized assets. Due to Danielson's history of concussions, Khan has yet to clear the American Dragon's in-ring return. In a recent interview, Khan revealed he decided to shut down Danielson and pull him out of the Forbidden Door pay-per-view despite Danielson's insistence to wrestle at the AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling crossover event. Quote, "I don't think it was a good thing Bryan got hurt," Khan told the New York Post. "I think that it's one of the worst things, but he's doing much better. I talked to him a few times a week. I had talked to him on the Wednesday when we were in St. Louis for Road Rager, and I talked to Bryan, and Bryan was like, I feel effing great. I'm ready to come back. I'm going to fight Zack Sabre, and we're going to go to Blood and Guts. Let's effing go, man." Then I talked to him the Saturday, 8 days before the pay-per-view, and he's not doing as well. So I immediately was like, you're not wrestling. If you're not feeling great 8 days out, I don't care if you have 7 straight days, I'm shutting you down until further notice. He has scans coming up, I'm like, I don't care what they say, they could be perfectly clear. Meltzer recently mentioned how Khan and others in AEW have shied away from using the dreaded C word while addressing the concussion suffered by the likes of Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole. Danielson reportedly suffered the concussion during the Anarchy in the Arena match at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view on May 29. Another indication that Sasha Banks has exited from WWE. It's been almost 2 months since Sasha Banks and Naomi chose to walk out while WWE Raw was on the air, relinquishing their WWE Women's Tag Team titles and leaving the company to improvise a new main event for the night. In the days that followed, WWE would describe the act as unprofessional and confirm the 2 top female stars were suspended from the company for the foreseeable future. Since then, numerous signs have pointed to Banks and Naomi departing the WWE rather than being suspended. For example, WWE removed all references to Banks and Naomi from their TV intro graphic, deleted their WWE Superstar Facebook pages, pulled all merchandise from WWE Shop, and even edited Sasha Banks out of a recap of Paige's 2017 WWE return. Removing the woman from more content seems to be the plan going forward. Earlier this weekend, fans may have noticed that there was a slight change applied to the Peacock Network profile icons. For subscribers to the streaming service, you can pick a specific character from a variety of television shows to be displayed as your profile icon. 3 of the choices for said icons were WWE stars Sasha Banks, Asuka, and Roman Reigns. However, after what has transpired with Banks, WWE has removed her icon choice from the platform. A recent report from PW Insider claims that Banks may be engaging in some signings outside of WWE as early as this fall. An additional report from Fightful Select noted that WWE Creative is operating under the assumption that Banks is done with the company, with several high-level talents indicating to reporters that Banks was released last month, confirming the original report from Wrestling Inc.'s own Raj Giri. The 2 women have been adjusting their own social media accounts to distance themselves from WWE as well. This past Thursday, Banks and Naomi replaced previous WWE references with the title professional wrestler on their respective Instagram profile pages. Chris Jericho comments on Vince McMahon allegations. While most of the wrestling world reckons the walls are closing in on Vince McMahon, Chris Jericho does not believe the allegations against his former boss will amount to any long-term repercussions. Speaking on the True Geordie podcast, the AEW star was asked if the allegations against McMahon surprised him. Quote, "Not really," Jericho responded. "I mean, there is a surprise in any industry when it happens, and really, when you look into it, it's not illegal. He had an affair, paid the lady off not to say anything, and moved on. People want to jump on it, but there's always an undertone of it's wrestling. If you look, that story came out with a bang and then you haven't really heard anything about it since. If this was, Hollywood with Harvey Weinstein, that sort of thing, but the difference between that was he was holding women back from getting gigs. Harvey Weinstein, either bang me or you don't get the starring role. This has never been said in Vince's thing. There was a mutual acknowledgement of this affair, then he had paid the lady to say nothing and she took the money. So, I really know Vince well and it sucks that it happened and it sucks that he did it, but is anything really going to happen from it? I really don't think so." Jericho emphasized that although McMahon's alleged transgressions are morally reprehensible, they will likely be forgotten about down the road. However, Jericho could admittedly be proven wrong in 6 months' time. "I think it will come and go, and once again, is it morally right? Absolutely not," Jericho added. "Is it illegal? No. It's something that's going to get him in real trouble? I don't think so, because once again, unfortunately, it's just Vince McMahon, it's just wrestling, of course, he's going to do that. So those things come and go and they happen, and it's too bad, but I really think it doesn't matter in the long run. 6 months from now, I'll either be right or I'll be wrong." McMahon and other WWE employees went about their business this past Friday at the SmackDown tapings, acting as if nothing happened, according to Dave Meltzer. Earlier that day, Wall Street Journal dropped its second bombshell story on McMahon. It should be noted that Jericho made these comments prior to Friday's story and was reacting to the earlier report of McMahon paying $3 million in hush money to a former paralegal with whom he and John Laurinaitis allegedly had sexual relations. So what are your thoughts on today's Wrestling News Roundup? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Wrestling Inc. and I'll speak with you again very, very soon.